This base is insane. Have a look at this. 9 defenses in a big breakdown semi-final war, and that ultimately ended up being the difference. And let's have a look at some of the replays now. Okay, so the first hit we're going to have on the base is Queen Charge Lalo. But before I get into talking about the attack, just a little context for you all. So this is the semi-final of the CWL Elite Summer Madness. I showed you the quarterfinals last week, some of the replays from the likes of Klaus, P. Castro, and the like. I even showed a replay from Duffman, who's the person who saved us today. Yes, his base held 9 times, and that was why we won the semi-final matchup without the need for a tiebreaker 5v5 war. 9 defenses is insane. It was a 20 versus 20, so he took 9 of their 20 attackers' attacks, and they couldn't even get it done. You might have seen that they had a few attacks left. They only hit 37 times. Their last 3 attackers couldn't attack Duffman. They'd already failed on it. So a little unfortunate for them there. But yeah, now in terms of the base, I know I mainly do Legends League stuff on the channel, so a lot of you will be like, well, Hooked, why are you showing a war base? I need a Legends base. This is originally a Legends base. This is quite a common Legends base. I've hit it on the channel a few times. I know Rakira's has as well. And that's why I really wanted to show it. Because Legends League bases can work in war, and they can even stump up the best players. Zweeble, for instance, is an experienced pusher. We've had him on the channel before with Blizzard Lalo. Now, he isn't as experienced with Queen Charge Lalo, but he's actually replicating P. Castro's attack here. So yes, P. Castro failed on this base with Queen Charge Lalo, but P. Castro got really unlucky. His last wall breaker, this one here, somehow died. I think the Eagle hit it or something. So it got a little unlucky, so that's why I chose to show Zweebles here, to show how hard this base is to charge, even if you can get the Queen into the core, because the Queen ability went off there, the Invis whilst dealing with the CC. It was a bit of panic here for Zweeble, because so much happened all at once, and unfortunately it was just too much for his Queen to handle, and suddenly this attack's fallen apart very quickly. Now, if his Queen got the Town Hall and the CC dealt with, this is likely a triple, but that's what you need if you're going to run a toxic base like this. You need a lot of core damage so that even if the Queen gets in there, there's not a lot she can do after that. Zweeble is a very, very talented attacker, particularly with Lalo, but even he can't Lalo this because unfortunately that Queen fell just short. But that's just the first one. I got 4 other replays with different armies, most of them armies that you would see in Legends League as well, and maybe you can get an idea for how well this base could go for you in Legends League. Super Bowler Smash, another really common Legends League army, particularly that you see higher in Legends League. We've talked about a lot. I rated it as my 2nd highest Legends League army at the moment. And this attacker here coming in for Region Wars is going to try and take it down. Now, Region Wars, I haven't really talked about them. They had a pretty stacked lineup. Maybe not as stacked as the Cutie Mary lineup, but still a very, very strong lineup and a lot of recognized pushers in the clan. None less than Zweeble. You also have P. Castro, who's always finishing high up on the leaderboards, and they had one other player who finished 70th in the world this month. So they have plenty of high pushers who are used to dealing with bases like this, but even they couldn't quite get through the base. Now, this is a really nice funnel. Log Launcher on the top side with the Witches to set a funnel. Warden Walk the other, and then just double jump in. Pop the Warden in a second, I think. Yep, that's a perfectly timed Warden to keep his healers alive. And look at how quickly he's maneuvered his way through the base. But here you're going to see the attack stall. Now, admittedly, the healers got stuck on the Warden for a bit, but all the Super Bowlers were full health. But have a look what happens now. The attack completely and utterly dies out. This isn't even going to be close. Yes, he got a bit of bad luck with the healers, but he just couldn't get any momentum through the base. Queen's popping her ability there. The last Super Bowlers died. The RC's trying her best on the right side, but the Eagle is still up. That's the critical thing here. That Eagle has not gone down. If that Eagle went down with skips off the Town Hall, this very well could have been a different outcome. But alas, it's not. And look at it yet again. A really low percent. And you know if these guys who... Look, they're taking longer than 30 seconds to plan on this base. If they are getting these sort of outcomes, then maybe you can see similar results. Okay, finally, Blizzard Lalo. Now, there were a few Blizzard Lalo replays. I think they tried about 3 or 4 times with the army. But the reason I showed this one over the others, because in Legends League, admittedly, you're going to see generic Blizzard Lalos. But in War, people will have more time to plan, such as here. And you can notice that this attacker here has decided to bring a jump spell for this Blizzard Lalo, because they feel like that's necessary. Now, obviously, if you run this in Legends League versus Blizz Lalo, you will never have someone use a jump spell against you. But I think that works 2 and 4, 4 and against this base. Because the fact that they're bringing a jump spell shows the additional planning and that you just don't get in Legends League. So the fact that these guys, even with the extra planning, didn't feel confident of getting their Sui to the Town Hall without said jump spell says a lot about this base. Now, personally, I've hit this base a few times in Legends League. Rakira showed me how, and the crack is pretty good. Just side-handedly, you just land a Blizz there, and then as long as you can get the King to beat the first layer over here by funneling this stuff, you wall break here, Queen gets the Town Hall and RC from the bottom, and Lalo what's left. That works. I don't think I've failed doing that in Legends Blizz Lalo on this base, and I think I've hit it 3 or 4 times at this point. But alas, this entry's not bad, even if it cost them the jump spell. Because as you can tell here, this Queen's absolutely going to get the Town Hall. She goes in, gets it, nicely done. But we can see the one downside of this is that jump spell has cost him 2 freeze spells. And yet again, the Eagle is staying up. Now, can the Queen get rid of this scatter? Nope. The defensive RC comes over and helps out. I think he expected her to go down with the Blizzard. Because our Queen would have got that scatter otherwise. The enemy Queen would have got that scatter otherwise, and this base might have gone slightly differently. But as you can tell, look at this. This is such a good Tesla farm. Watch these loons on the outside. They are not going to path to the Eagle. Admittedly, the ones in the core do, as a good Lalo does. But these ones on the outside are just pathing really poorly, and they're taking a really long time zigzagging through all the defenses that they just end up dying. And this doesn't end up getting particularly close either. There's so many defenses up. Now, if they didn't bring a jump, you may ask, were they going to triple? I can tell you no. They did this without a jump as well, this exact same plan, and it didn't quite work. They also did the Blizz that I talked about over here in the same Sui, but they still couldn't get that to work as well. So clearly this base can go alright versus Blizzard Lalo 2. I think it held 3 or 4 hits, and that's just, you couldn't ask for anything more versus one of the toughest armies in the game to defend. Let's have a look at another replay. Okay, one army you're always going to ask, does my base defend this in Legends League? Is going to be air spam. Your base has to have a chance versus air spam. It doesn't need to be perfect, because air spam's not as strong as it once was, let's be honest. But it still has to hold some of the time. You can't just be taking minus 40 every time air spam hits you. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of bad days in Legends League. Now, this attacker here elects to bring the air spam with the mass skellies and heal and more Inferno drag. So it's more like an Inferno Rider 1 than your typical Hydra spam. But this army's still really strong. Like, really strong. At its best, it's stronger than Hydra. Hydra's just a little more consistent. But you're going to see how badly this attack goes. And I mean, if the base is defending air spam like this, it's clearly a solid base to run in Legends League. Because have a look at this. This attack's over. He can't get that Town Hall. He's put the RC on the bottom side. But as you can tell, this attack's going to be over in 20 seconds now. He still does have so many spells left, but I don't think that was going to save them. He needed those spells for after the Town Hall to have any chance of tripling. Queen ability goes off. RC ability goes off. And this base has held so strongly. So we've seen it stop. Most of my top 5 armies from my top 5 Legends League armies video. If you haven't watched that already, please go watch it now. But yeah, we've defended most of those armies. What is the final attack? And the final army is Zap Super Witches. Now, this ended up being the highest percent on the base. The highest percent was 96%, by the way, which, I mean, that is very high percent, but if you took 9 defenses against a team full of very talented attackers, and the best one was 96%, I would take that in a heartbeat. Now, the Zaps there hit the Queen, Scatter, few Builder Huts, and a Sweeper. Pretty good value. And essentially what he's going to do, just this Waterwalk for value. Now, Zap Super Witch goes really well on ring bases. It can be occasionally like hit or miss, But if you can get good value from the Zap and good pathing around the base, it's often really hard to kill any of the troops. You're going to see how he does it in a second. It's a really smart way of taking down rings. Now, you can't do this in Legends League as much because people don't use Super Witches in Legends League. But in War, this is definitely viable. So take a good look here. King being used to funnel the bottom side. Super Witches come. We use a few Coco Loons just for the healers when they eventually come around. And there's the wall break that matters the most. The other two wall breaks were really just for our Queen to go in and out of the compartment. But this one was the one that mattered. And as you can tell, the Super Witches all go inside the base here. Now you're probably wondering, well, why isn't he trying to get to the core? He has no need to get to the core. The only thing in the core that he can't reach from this compartment here is the Town Hall. And as if right on cue here, you can see that blimp comes in, he wardens the blimp. I believe it's just going to be a safe CC because he's already used so many spells on Zap, he can't really afford to bring an extra rage spell. And yep, look at that. Lots of gobs and lots of sneaky gobs in that CC, and there's nothing the defense can do about that. And still, we're going around. Our Warden's dead. Look at that. Or our Warden. I keep doing that. The opposition Warden is dead. But this attack's still looking strong. There's a minute left, though. And you're about to find out the real downside of this army. Because, look, he hasn't been able to really place his RC yet. But I'm going to tell you, in a minute, he doesn't quite get the base down. And it's not the lack of Super Witches that costs him. It is so hard to kill Super Witches when they're in the right compartment. Because notice, he doesn't need a jump spell for this attack. He has full access on this ring base just from the wall breakers initially. Just bomb the Town Hall and that's that. And this is really strong. You don't see too many people doing it because, as you're seeing here, time is a big issue. But it is super strong when you pull it off. And generally, like, lower skilled. So if you see this as a weakness on some ring bases, give this a go. You'll get good results with it. But unfortunately, for Region Wars here, it falls just short at 96%. This was their second last attempt on this base. So things were getting pretty dire at this point. And I'm sure he felt robbed because look how many troops he still has up. It's quite clearly wrecked. But he ran out of time. And that's it for all for today. You guys just saw 5 of the 9 defenses that this base had, and Duffman single-handedly won the war for us on defense. So GG's to Duffman. He plays for Jensen Clash, a team you would have seen at Worlds at a Worlds qualifier this year. But alas, if you want this link, it is down in the comments below. Like I said, it's a Legends League base, so you don't just have to run it in War. You could also give it a go in Legends League. I'd say it's about 2-3 months old at this point, but clearly the traps have been edited on this one to work perfectly. But that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this base link video, and maybe I'll see you guys soon.